The Kanto region really went through it in Generation 1 of Pokemon. Between a freak science experiment getting loose, official league trainers losing their titles, and a hostile takeover by the Mafia, it's kind of no wonder there was a 3-year gap between Generations 1 and 2, where Kanto had to rebuild itself. But what if I told you Team Rocket are not the real villains in this story, and the true monster is the one that everyone thinks is the hero? Red, the protagonist, the silent hero, did not save Kanto. He destroyed it. I'm talking full organizational collapse, missing leaders, retirements, power vacuums. This man didn't beat the system, he dismantled it. And by the end of this video, I'm gonna show you how one kid from Pallet Town caused the entire Indigo League to fall apart. Red's rise through the Kanto region is fast, almost unnaturally fast. He earns 7 badges, one after the other, until he finally gets back to Viridian City, where his journey began. And standing at the end of that journey is the final gym leader, Giovanni, power broker, gym leader, and secretly the head of Team Rocket, whom Red has already stomped several times at this point. When Red defeats him for the 3rd and final time, it's framed as a victory, and on the surface it is. He's defeated the evil organization and saved the region. But if you look closer, this is actually a huge problem. When Giovanni is defeated, he doesn't regroup. He doesn't rebuild the gym. He just vanishes completely. The Viridian Gym, arguably the most important one in the entire Kanto region, is now left without a leader. That's not a victory for the League, that's a structural failure. The League is now operating with only 7 gyms, and with an 8-badge requirement, that is unacceptable for any new trainers wanting to take the gym challenge. Red has put a huge dent in the entire structure of the Indigo Pokemon League, and what does he do?
Nothing.
He doesn't step in to fix it, he just moves on. He's got his 8 badges, so he's on to the next goal, which is to challenge the Elite Four and aim for that coveted slot of champion. The Elite Four aren't just strong trainers, they're the foundation of the league. 4 individuals who are tasked with maintaining the highest standard of battle in the region. Red, being the force of nature that he is, walks right through them, one after the other. He gets past Lorelei and Bruno, and when he gets to the 3rd trainer, Agatha, Red deals another huge blow to the league in his warpath. Agatha is an elderly master of ghost-type Pokemon, and it's implied in the lore that she began her journey roughly around the same time as Professor Oak. She even talks about Professor Oak in her in-game dialogue. Oak has already stated that he is way too old to continue field research himself, and that's why he's relying on the next generation of trainers to fill out the Pokedex. So what does that imply for someone like Agatha? If Oak is having these thoughts, Agatha is likely thinking the same thing, retirement. And when Red gets to her, Red doesn't just defeat Agatha, he proves that her time is over. He accelerates that decision of retirement. And just like that, another pillar of the Pokemon League begins to crumble. After putting Grandma in the home, he moves on to Lance, the strongest trainer in the land, and Lance doesn't stand a chance. Red proves he is the strongest trainer in the entire region and is championship material, with one exception. At the top of the Indigo League stands his rival, Blue. Blue has just become champion. He's taken the exact same challenge Red has, and has just been a step ahead of him the entire time. For the first time in a long time, the league has a new, young leader ready to define its future. But how long does that future actually last? Minutes? A half hour at best? Red arrives after defeating Lance, challenges Blue to battle, and defeats him immediately. Blue's reign is over before it even begins. There's no transition, no stability, no time to lead as champion, and in his place is now Red, a trainer who has said nothing, promised nothing, and has shown zero interest in leadership. And after becoming champion, what does Red do? He goes to get the milk. He vacates his position as champion. He takes the title from Blue and leaves it. Not to govern, by the way, not to go strengthen the league, but to explore. He does it for selfish reasons. At this point, the Indigo Pokemon League is now down 1 gym leader, it's down an Elite Four member in Agatha, and it's also down its champion. In the Fire Red and Leaf Green continuity, After becoming champion, Red decides to go back to the Sevy Islands, and it's here where things start to fall apart even more. He'd already visited Islands 1, 2, and 3 after defeating Blaine, so now he's finishing his island journey, and after becoming champion, he visits 4 Island, where he meets back up with Lorelei, one of the Elite Four members. She's not at the Indigo Plateau, she's here at her home on 4 Island, dealing with Team Rocket doing some shenanigans in the ice cavern, and she asks Red to help her defeat them. It's light work for the region's champion and an Elite Four member, and again, it seems heroic, but it does have consequences, massive consequences, because after this skirmish, Lorelei realizes that the islands need protection, way more than the League does, so she makes the choice to leave the Elite Four, and this explains why she's not a member of the League in the Generation 2 games. That's now -1 gym leader, -2 Elite Four members, and minus a champion. The Indigo League is in shambles at this point, and it's all thanks to Red. He's none the wiser. He continues along his Sevy Islands journey. He goes to 5 Island, discovers the Team Rocket warehouse there. He travels to 6 Island, where he finds the sapphire that he was tasked with finding. This sapphire is what allows trading between the Hoenn and the Kanto regions, and it's something that makes Red realize that there's a lot more Pokemon out there than just in his home region. He gets to the sapphire, only for it to get snatched up by the scientist Gideon, who was tailing him ever since 5 Island. Red follows Gideon back to that Team Rocket warehouse and wipes the floor with all of them, completely dismantling Team Rocket for good, at least until they rebuild 3 years later, and he enables trading between the 2 regions. He only has 1 stop left on his 7 Islands journey after that, and that is the 7th and final island, where he finds the Tanabe Key and the Tanabe Ruins. By solving the puzzle in the key, he unlocks the mythical Pokemon Unknown, strange ancient Pokemon that hint at something much bigger, a world that exists far beyond Kanto. And in that moment, Red decides that his journey is not done, not even close. The strongest trainer in the world makes a decision at that point, that he will leave Kanto for good and abandon his role as champion. He will travel the world and explore it to its fullest, finding every Pokemon that exists. But before he goes, he makes a critical decision. He challenges the Elite Four again, and this is following the Fire Red and Leaf Green post-game continuity, where we can battle the Elite Four members with updated teams. On his way back to the Kanto mainland, he convinces Lorelei to temporarily return to the Elite Four. He probably reaches out to Oak to convince Agatha to come back, and then he, alongside his rival Blue, storm the League a second time. Stronger teams, harder battles. But the result is exactly the same. Both him and Blue systematically take out the Elite Four, having one final climactic battle between themselves, but at that point, there's just no question. Red isn't just the best, he's untouchable. As long as he's around, Blue will always be second place. When the dust settles and Red is crowned champion the second time, he leaves, this time for good. The Indigo Pokemon League is in ruins. Lorelei returns to 4 Island to protect it and abandons her post as Elite Four. Agatha retires, abandoning her post as Elite Four. Blue was likely offered the role of de facto champion in Red's absence, but considering he got his clock cleaned twice by Red, he probably didn't feel good about accepting that role. Now suddenly, the Indigo League is missing a gym leader still, 2 Elite Four members, and a champion. The League cannot operate with 7 gyms and an Elite 2. It's just not possible. The system is broken. It's not weakened, not strained, just broken. The Elite Four have no choice. They have to shut the League down. Temporarily. But the damage is already done. And this is why I'm convinced there is a 3-year gap between the first and second generations. They were literally rebuilding the region because of Red's actions. The temporary shutdown did pay off though, and we see this in Gold, Silver, and Crystal, and the eventual remakes, Heart Gold and Soul Silver. And none of this gets explained in the games, by the way, but the state that we see the Kanto region in the Generation 2 games gives us plenty of context clues. Blue steps in, not as a champion, but as the Viridian gym leader. He was likely offered the role as champion, but probably decided that gym leader would be better for him, and it makes sense. Viridian City is a hop and a skip away from Pallet Town, so he's close to home and he's close to Professor Oak in the event that Oak needs help, and he's right next to the Indigo Plateau. He is the strongest trainer in Kanto, as long as Red's not around, and he's strong enough to act as a safeguard in the event something goes wrong, like another hostile takeover by Team Rocket. He could easily partner up with the Elite Four and deal with that issue. So that's perfect. The league now has 8 gym leaders again. It could resume the gym challenge, but there's still the problem of the Elite 2, with no champion. So Bruno and Lance, being the last remaining members of the Elite Four, begin recruiting, and the first place they look is Kanto's strongest. They look to the various gym leaders across the land, and they probably asked every single one of them if they'd be willing to join the Elite Four. These trainers are gym leaders for a reason. They are the best of the best. Koga was likely an obvious choice because his daughter Janine was in line to take over his gym. He's an older gym leader, he's very experienced and very skilled with poison types, so he became an obvious choice, and they likely recruited him into the Elite Four fold. Great, they're now an Elite 3. At some point after that, a mysterious psychic trainer arrives in Kanto and decides to challenge the Elite Four to prove himself. Maybe he had aspirations to become a champion, maybe he saw that the Elite Four was recruiting and decided to put his name in the hat. In any case, Will shows up, and he's very skilled, and he proves himself to Lance and the gang, and they accept him into the Elite Four. And it's at this point where the Kanto League is just about where it was when Red began his journey. They have 8 gym leaders, and they have an Elite Four, but still no champion. At some point after that, a trainer by the name of Karen arrives from Johto. She battles her way through the league, maybe she had the 8 gym badges from Johto, we're not sure, and she proves herself against everyone except Lance. She's clearly Elite Four material, but they can't have an Elite 5, so at this point Lance probably makes the executive decision that he will step into the role as champion of the Kanto region, with Karen taking his place as the 4th Elite Four member. And this is how we have the lineup that we have in the Generation 2 games: Will, Koga, Bruno, and Karen, with Lance as champion. Perfect. Kanto has rebuilt, and it only took 3 years to do it, but the damage was still done. Red never declared himself a hero, and he never claimed responsibility for any of this. He didn't even stay to fix what he broke. And just look at the pattern. He removes Giovanni, leaving a gym empty. He defeats Agatha, accelerating her retirement. He defeats Lorelei, inspiring her departure. He defeats Blue, destabilizing the league's leadership. And then after becoming champion himself, the first thing he does is abandon and vacate the title. Every step forward that he takes, something else gets left behind. Obviously, this is just a fun idea. Red didn't intend to destroy the Kanto region. He was just a kid chasing strength and chasing the next challenge. But intent does not erase consequences. And the truth is, no single trainer in Pokemon history has reshaped their home region more than Red. Not by ruling it, not by protecting it, but by breaking it. So the next time you think about the hero of Kanto, ask yourself this: is it really the player character Red, or did he do more damage than Team Rocket ever could, and he was the secret villain in disguise all along? You can let me know in the comments what you think about this, but either way, if you enjoyed this deep dive, make sure you subscribe to the channel for more Pokemon videos, and consider giving this video a thumbs up. And let me know what you think. Was Red a hero, or something else entirely? I hope you guys enjoyed this video. This has been Star. Keep shining, baby.